my Z followers, and welcome back to the question where you have the questions and I have the answers. And today is the story time about my ex, and I don't know if I'll do a lot of those. If you guys keep asking questions, then maybe I'll do multiple videos. But for now, it's just one. And so the questions, you always only ask two questions, and it was the first one was, how did the breakup affect your relationship with your friends, or my relationship with my friends? And it's interesting because I'd been dating Ethan for almost 3 years, and by that time he had gotten really into my friend group, so they were friends with him and he was friends with them or whatever, and I really wasn't as close with his friends, but I had a few mutual friends with him, that he had made and then I met. And so after we broke up, everyone was sort of just I'm gonna sort of stay neutral. I'm gonna help both of you because you're both my friends. But I think after a month or so, people started sort of choosing sides and whatever. Kind of a few specific examples was his new girlfriend. Her first said, "Oh, I'm gonna be here for both of you. I'm not gonna take sides." And obviously, she took a side because they're dating, and she talked shit about me. And so that's fun. There's a lot of shit talking actually, because he started coming up with all these allegations that I cheated on him and that I lied to him and did all these things to him, which I didn't do. And I was kind of surprised and hurt by the number of people who believed him. Like, not just of my friends, but of just people who didn't know me and believed it. So it hurt a lot. And for a long period of time, and sometimes I still do feel bad because our friend group kind of broke up a bit because of this, because I stopped hanging out with him and some people chose, to be with him. A lot of friends who were his originally, started talking shit about me, so I'm not friends with them anymore. And some friends just sort of drifted, away. And I feel bad because I didn't want anybody else to get hurt, in our breakup, and I feel like some people did. And in all honesty, I blame myself for that, even though I know it wasn't exactly my fault that they chose to drift away. And I feel like I tried to be welcoming to them, but I do understand that it's hard when it's this dynamic we've had for so long has now just sort of dramatically shifted, and no one really understood or knew why. Because a lot of the drama that went on between Ethan and I wasn't public. I had no social media. I have Instagram now, but I didn't then. So no one really knew what was happening, and we really communicated our issues. Some of our friends, really close friends, knew what was going on, but a lot of people didn't, because he didn't like to talk about it. He didn't like me talking about it, and that was another thing that we routinely fought over, was that he didn't like me talking about our issues to my friends, or trying to get help like that. So that was a big reason why it affected our friendship, because they didn't understand what happened. And so I didn't really want to say anything bad about him right after we broke up, because I still wanted to be friends. And so people would ask me what happened, and I'd give a really watered down version of what happened, and then go to him and he'd be like, "Oh, she cheated on me. Oh, she lied to me. Oh, she used me like this." And I didn't want to go and call him out on it, because I was like, "Oh yeah, he's healing. This is just a process of him healing." But then after months and months and it didn't get better, I was just finally put my foot down and I said, "You know what? This is what happened." And then I was just alone, because people didn't believe me, or they believed him more, or they just stopped hanging out with me because I thought it was a bad person, and so on and so forth. And it hurt a lot of the time, and sometimes if I look back on it, it hurts now, but not as much. And one of the things that I have to try to remember is that if they turn so easily, they really weren't all my friends in the first place. But I don't like to use that analogy a lot, because for that time they were really good friends, but something happened, and I don't blame them for it. If they honestly think Ethan is their closer friend than me, then by all means, go with him. But it did hurt a lot. Uh, yeah. And then the second question was, has he finally moved on and stopped harassing you? And for that, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't harass me as much anymore, like, not in the same way. You know, like when we first broke up, it was really verbal, either through text or in person, just telling me what a terrible person I was and sort of making me feel bad, using all my insecurities against me. And he's definitely stopped that. But, like, once again, he has that new girlfriend, and whenever, like, he sees me in the hallway, he'll make sure that, like, I know that he has this new girlfriend, that he's happy, that he's better off with me. He still texts my mom, which is weird. He'll still text my mom, like, about me. A lot more when we first broke up, but, like, still, like, every, like, at least a month or so, he'll text my mom, which is weird. You're just telling her, oh, she lied to me, she cheated on me, and my mom was like, no, she didn't, whatever. Or, like, I'm gonna get rid of everything that reminds me of her, and I'm like, okay, good for you, dude. If that's what you need to move on, good for you. So he's definitely stopped doing that, but once again, still, like, the flaunting his girlfriend and whatever whenever I see him is definitely something that he still does. And he, of course, still contacts me sometimes. I used to have him blocked, and then I guess I unblocked him. I unblocked him because I wanted to just, like, check in on him at one point because he started going to therapy, and I was really proud of him, and I wanted to make sure he was still going to therapy. You know, and I thought, 5 months had passed, maybe it was like we'd be good, and he was like, don't check on me. I stopped going to therapy, don't talk to me. And I was like, okay, dude, if that's what you want. But then he will text me about things still. Like the whole taking down my YouTube videos that had him in it. And once again, he still texts my parents, which is really weird. And so that's about the harassing thing. Has he moved on? I feel like, don't quote me on this, because I honestly don't know what's going on with him, because once again, I've had, like, little to no contact with him. I feel like, at least from my perspective, it's like he wants everybody to think that he's moved on and try and, like, win the breakup, because everybody tries to, like, win breakups, which is really stupid. Why can't y'all just grieve and mourn together and work through it together and still be friends? There doesn't have to be any anger, in breakups. But there is, and it's kind of it's kind of highly, like, a stereotype that you have to hate your ex, or you have a crazy ex. So yeah, but it's like, I feel like he wants everybody to think he's moved on, and, like, everybody to feel like he's moved on. But then I don't know if he truly has, just because he still tries and, like, get my attention again, showing off that he has a girlfriend. So I don't know. I sincerely hope he's moved on. I know I haven't fully moved on yet, just because, like, I'm obviously more okay than I was when it first happened, but just sometimes seeing, like, just him and Alyssa, it hurts, like, a lot, because, he's still in this relationship, and I couldn't stay in a relationship with Will, and just it sort of hurts because it makes me feel like I failed. It's him being able to be in a happy relationship. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's happy, but they make it seem like it's happy, and it makes me feel like I failed. It just further just implicates that maybe it was my fault that, like, the relationship failed, which I know it wasn't, but I mean, it wasn't entirely, but it just reaffirms that. So it's like, move on, I don't know. Harassing, it's just sort of toned down and morphed, kind of. So those are the only questions you asked me, but because you also wanted stories, I thought I would tell, like, some good stories to sort of negate the bad things that sort of you guys have been hearing a lot about. Because he was a good person for a lot of the time, and he does have really good qualities, and I don't ever want to say that he's a bad person, because he is a product of his upbringing, and if that's acting like that is all he knows, and I know it is, about his family, it's really crazy. I can't fault him for doing what he knows, but I can fault him for knowing there's a different way and refusing to change. So it's like, he's not a bad person, but I do blame him for doing what he did. If that makes sense. Same thing with my family. Anyway, that's a different story. Good stories about Ethan. Freshman year, I cracked this joint in my hand, and this like middle joint here, and so I couldn't use my hand for the rest of the day because there's a nerve sitting in it. Now where the crack was, it's healed, but there's still a nerve, so if I hit it, I can't use it. It just goes numb, and it's like basically useless to me. And so cracked sorry hand, I couldn't use it for the rest of the day, and every single hour, like on the hour, he would come in and bring me like new ice packs for my hand because it was swelling really badly. I just thought that was like so sweet and so nice. Other good stories. I did think I need to remember now. I promised there were more. You just have like those brain farts. They were good stories. I know they were good stories. Well, first of all, just like most of 8th grade was really good. When we met and first started dating, it was really good. I mean, it was kind of awkward because neither of us had ever been in a relationship before, and it kind of went south a bit quickly. I look back and I see all the red flags, but like for that time, it was like really sweet because, you know, he was like my best friend, and he encouraged me and made me feel good about myself, and it was nice. One time we spent like all summer watching Stranger Things, like binging Stranger Things together, or playing Mario Kart or Mario Party at his house. Those were always fun times. We're going to track practice together freshman year because we both did track then. We also both did track in 8th grade, so that was great. I wish I had like another definite story, but I'm really drawing a blank. And I really don't know why I am. But he was really nice and just caring and fun. And those aspects of him I do miss. But it wasn't a good relationship for a long amount of time, and I should have seen that earlier. And I feel like I did see it earlier, but it was just my ego and my low self-esteem, which is ironic, working together to make me not leave. You know, it was I broke up with him, then I was wrong. He wasn't like the one, which I know that isn't actually a thing, but we hold like the perfect person in such high regard that like if you, at least for me, if you have like multiple relationships, it's kind of like you failed. Like they don't mean as much as like if you had the one true love. But really, both of my relationships meant so much to me, and they still mean so much to me because they taught me a lot about myself and a lot about life. And I care about both Ethan and Will really deeply still. You know, despite everything that I went through with Ethan, I still care about him a lot, and I do worry about him, especially now in this whole quarantine pandemic, having to like be at home with probably his mom and his stepdad and his brother, and just knowing the whole family dynamic. And I don't know if it's changed at all or improved or gotten worse since I broke up with him, but knowing what I did now, it does make me worry about him because it wasn't a good scene when I was dating him. And maybe it got better, and if it is, I'm really glad, but I don't know. So, yeah, and sometimes I do get mad at myself for like still caring about him, but I'm a caring person. And even if I know like we can't be friends, I want the best for him, you know? And sometimes I do get upset and I get mad because it's not fair how things turned out, but you just have to push through it and wait a little bit longer. So that was story time about my ex. Maybe part 1. I don't know if there'll be a part 2, but if you guys request it, I'll totally do it. I love all of you. Have a good week. I actually have not been having that good of a week. Yesterday it was a big like depression like episode, but I'm feeling a tiny bit better. I don't know how long the feeling will last, so I made this video, and hopefully this brightens your day. If you have any questions, comment below. If you have anything else you want me to like cover on this channel or on this topic, once again, comment below. I love you guys all. Wow, I can't speak English. I love all of you guys. Share this with somebody you think will like it. Share the channel, share any other episodes, videos. What is YouTube? What is social media? I don't know. But I love all you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Don't go crazy. I know missing people is hard, so give someone a close hug. And don't be afraid to cry, because crying is healthy and holding it in is not. No one will think less of you if you cry. And if they do, I'll rip their intestines out. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Why does this never want to turn off? Oh my god, Stop recording.